What's up guys, and welcome back to the Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon speculation video, and today we are going to cover one of probably the best features introduced in Sun and Moon, and that is PokéRide. It replaced HMs, and we all, basically, I think everyone thought it was better. You didn't have to carry around a HM slave anymore, you don't have to worry about finding an area and thinking, oh, damn it, I haven't got my cutter, I'm going to have to go back, grab it, and then come all the way back here. Whereas it was the case of either you didn't have the PokéRide Pokemon, in which case you made a mental note and there's nothing you could do about it, or you had it there on hand and it didn't matter what Pokemon were on your team, you could slam it through. And that was pretty cool. So PokéRide will very likely return. I cannot see them getting rid of it at all, and they might even return in future games as well if they decide to ditch HMs completely, because as I think most of us agreed, it was a pretty nasty system to use in some instances because of the things I've mentioned. So I think today we're going to look at the possible updates that PokéRide could have with the upgrades and stuff like that in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, because I feel like that had at least one or two extra modes, extra PokéRiders for us to use, and maybe remove one or two. We'll see how it goes. So we'll look at what the existing sort of features of PokéRide so far and figure out where we can patch up the gaps. So of course we have, the first PokéRider we get is of course Tauros. Tauros functions as like a bike almost, but also as a rock smasher because it can smash its way through rocks, pretty simple there. Then Stoutland is the next one. Stoutland doesn't really function as a HM, but it's more a dowsing machine, so I could see that coming back. Otherwise you have to have a dowsing machine in the game really. So there's that. Next up on the line is Lapras. Of course Lapras is your surfer, it's pretty obvious. There is Sharpedo we'll look at later on, which is also a surfer. They're just two different classes of them, but Lapras is your standard surfer, so there's not much to say there. And then the fourth, well not finally, but the fourth one we have Mudsdale. Mudsdale doesn't really have a HM counterpart since it crosses sort of rocky terrain. The closest would be Rock Climb of course, because it's rocky slopes, rocky surfaces, or rocky terrain, so similar, it's just not a direct port over. So moving on to the other ones, of course, next we have Sharpedo. As I mentioned, it's just another surf class really, there's no HM that links up to it. Of course you have stuff like Dive, which we'll look into later on, but it's not a direct link there. Then we have Machamp, who is the Strengther, so Strength moves boulders, pushes them aside, very similar to Tauros and the Rock Smash, pretty simple there. And then finally, not really a PokéRide, but a method of it, which is of course the Charizard Glide, something like that, which is of course Fly. It's not a direct, well it is basically a direct representation of Fly, because you just select you fly. What I'm thinking of is Soaring and Auras. It's possible they extend the Charizard Glide in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon to allow you to actually fly around on the Charizard around the region, which would be pretty sick. But I guess we'll see how that goes, because Auras of course did offer a normal fly function for those that wanted to get around faster. So I don't think it's going to happen, but it's a possibility. So what other HMs are missed out? Well, let's have a look. Well, I'll list through them first and then we'll see. So we have Cut, Defog, Dive, Flash, Rock Climb, Waterfall and Whirlpool. So those are the other ones. All the HMs across the years aren't actually represented by a PokéRide function. So Cut, I could see coming back actually. It's pretty similar to the Tauros Rock Smash. For example, you could have a Pokemon like Sceptile, you ride on its back and it slices away at trees as you walk up to them, sort of thing. Defog is possible, I suppose. You could have like a, riding on a Staraptor, I suppose, and it would blow away the fog in the area. That would work pretty well. However, I don't think it's going to happen because the fog is like a Gen 4 thing, and that's not going to be in this generation. So I don't think it's going to happen, but it's possible, I suppose. Dive though is one a lot of people want to see, especially myself included, because we're in Alola. There's bound to be some like coral reefs or some deep oceans just off the coast, because in Hawaii that's how it works. They're volcanoes, makes a lot of sense. So it does make sense that you would see a dive area, so you can have a diving Pokemon. I don't know, you could have, particularly in terms of thinking about water types, but it's possible to have one that you can dive and ride underwater, similar to Sharpedo and Lapras being two different classes of that. Flash, probably not. We have actually moved away from Flash in recent years because it was annoying to use. You had to take a Flasher with you in the cave, and that was just annoying because not many Pokemon learned Flash. Flash was not even a useful move. Like Strength and Fly, they were semi-useful, whereas Flash, not at all almost. So it was really just a pain to use. So in recent games, there haven't been any dark caves, or if there have been, they've been lit up to an extent you can actually still go through them without Flash. So I don't see this coming back at all. Rock Climb, of course we have Mudsdale, as I mentioned, which is very similar in itself. So you could definitely see a Rock Climb, Machamp is here in this art, so that could definitely work. But Rock Climb could work again, that's a Gen 4 thing, so maybe not coming back in Generation 8, or Generation 7 rather, maybe Generation 8, possible there. Waterfall though, I do think it's a possibility to return again. Just thinking about Brooklet Hill, thinking about all the waterfalls that are there, how cool it would be to go up and down them, that would be pretty sick, but that's just my thoughts. You could have like a, I don't know what you can have to climb the waterfall, even have to be like a, a strong water type like Poliwrath maybe. That would be pretty cool. And obviously they have to work as a normal surfing class as well, so we'll see how that goes, whether it actually turns up. And then finally we have Whirlpool. I can't really see Whirlpool coming in because it's just a little thing. It's really annoying. I don't know, it was annoying in Generation 2 when you actually had to use it. I'm not sure if there's any other generation since, but it was annoying to me because obviously you just had to take 2 water type Pokemon or have 1 water type that had 2 water moves, which got annoying in the end. It could be different here because obviously PokéRide you don't have to have the Pokemon themselves, but it's still, you know, you'd have to have again another class of water, another class of Surfer that could cross water, Whirlpools rather. So I feel like in the end it's not really worth putting it in at all. Yes, okay, it'd be cool to block some areas off with it over water, but you could, if we're talking about Dive and Waterfall, you might as well do something similar with that there. So in terms of the ones that haven't been seen, I could definitely see Dive and Waterfall being included because they are extra sort of terrain aspects rather than just like Cut, which is like, oh, there's a tree in the way, why not just put the Rock Smash boulders there instead? You know, and the other ones like Rock Climb, again, you can just have you know, rock boulders in there instead. So Dive and Waterfall are the ones that actually change the map considerably. You know, Dive gives you new areas and Waterfall actually gives you some elevation, whereas the others are all sort of linear, just back and forth and not really any depth to them. So I could definitely see Dive and Waterfall and maybe Cut, but of course you have to, because it's PokéRide, you have to have Pokemon you can ride on that can then cut trees and whatnot as you go through the area. So I can't see that happening, but Dive and Waterfall are my 2 main choices. What about you guys though? Can you see any particular updates to PokéRide? Do you see any new ones coming in, or do you think they're just going to stay with the standard, what was it, 5 or 6 they had already? And also, Charizard Glide, would you like it to be updated to a soaring mechanic as well, so you can actually fly your Charizard as opposed to just being like, hop on it, hop off it? Let me know down below in the comment section. But this will be it for me for today, so I shall see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.